It's only doubts that we're counting on fingers broken long ago. I read with every broken heart we should become more adventurous. And if you banish me from your prophet.
Hi, Genderqueer Chat. It's Nicole here. This week's topic is about being genderqueer in the city or country that you're from and how people deal with it, with gender in general, and I guess about you being genderqueer. And what is it like being genderqueer somewhere else? Do you know of that at all? So, as you guys know, I'm from Texas. Being genderqueer has been really interesting here. I guess it's a little painful to talk about sometimes for me, but I'm going to try. Most people in Texas think of the gender binary in very extreme terms. That has there's several reasons why that is. But I think the big reason is because of the extreme conservative religious beliefs in this part of the country. Most people you meet are going to be white, Christian, and conservative here. Most everyone. Not everyone. It's a huge, huge state. There's lots of different kinds of people. I have queer friends here. I have gay friends here. I have every kind of friend, But, I mean, typically what you're going to run into is white, Christian, and conservative, especially in a lot of the rural areas like where I grew up. Now, I'm living in kind of a college town right now, but I did grow up in a really, really, in a smaller town, not with horses and not that small, but it was definitely a smaller community of people, and it was very, a very kind of extreme conservative society there. Where I'm living now, things are much more liberal, although you still run into the same type of person a lot of the time, but they're usually more liberal in general in their thinking and more open-minded. Being gay is definitely more common here in the city where I'm living now. But gender identity is foreign to most people here, most everyone I meet, except for like cross-dressing, like drag queens. Most people know about drag queens and transsexuals, people, the standard, typical trans narrative. But overall, I mean, here in the city, it's. I feel more that I'm a little invisible as a queer person. I feel like people read me as a lesbian, unless I talk to them about it. Once I talk to them about it, it seems like it's been working out in my benefit. Lately, I've been just kind of getting it out there at the beginning. And it seems to be going well, and I think that it makes sense. It makes sense to people that I'm getting close to or wanting to form relationships with. Me being queer makes sense to them, so that's good. But in rural areas, things are a lot more bleak. Everything seems to revolve around the religious beliefs, and then the religious beliefs or the people that are influencing what these people believe in. The priority is to only present things to children. Their big thing is children. It's to only present to children what is like healthy and right and in the eyes of God. And this is how they speak normally. I mean, this is just like general conversation topics in this area. We can't talk about evolution. They did, like when I was in school, there was no talk of evolution, no sex education was optional or really minimal. And then the sex ed we did have was definitely celibacy based, until marriage. Talk of sexuality was negative, even in terms of heterosexual before marriage. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to say how is it to be genderqueer there. I mean, at the time I wasn't identifying that way, but even just being considered a tomboy was kind of a big deal there. no discussion about gender identity, except for more of a disorder. Like you would refer to someone with like bipolar disorder or something. That's more how they see. It's more of how it's discussed, as in that person's really crazy and needs help or something. Now going back there is really tough for me as a queer person. Going back visiting my family down there, I just feel really awkward, and I do definitely feel like people stare at me and don't know what to make of me. So, not my favorite place to go, but you choose where you live for a reason. I live here now, and it's much better. But it's still hard even here. I do like and dislike this part of living here and being genderqueer here in Denton. I like the fact that most people here are, educated, coming from, we've got 2 colleges here, 2 major colleges, and then like a community college about 15 minutes away. So there's a lot of open-minded people that are letting, education guide them in their journey. And I like coming in contact with people like that. But on the other hand, sometimes it is annoying explaining myself to every single person and having a cerebral event talking about gender. Every single person that I come out to, as genderqueer, I have to go into what all that is. And a lot of times it doesn't really make a lot of sense to them for a while. I have to be very patient, because it's just not here in Texas. It's just so rare, which makes it cool because I do get to educate, and I enjoy that. I really do. But sometimes I just would like to go a day without having a cerebral discussion about my gender identity and dissecting, I guess, myself in front of essentially sometimes, people I don't know very well, for the sake of education. I think it's worth it, but it is exhausting. So I guess that'd be the best way to sum up living in Texas. Being genderqueer is exhausting. And it depends on where you live. If you live in a city, you can survive. It's good. You just really have to explain yourself a lot. But as far as being, genderqueer in rural areas, I'm sure that it's very, very scary, because even when I just go visit, I'm uncomfortable. What do you know about other societies? What is it like being genderqueer somewhere else? The one place I've been that I saw the most queer people was San Francisco. And there was just as many, there was just as many queer people as any other person. Like, it was like, oh, every third person was queer, and it was awesome. And I loved it. But that's really the only place I've been where I noticed like a cultural difference. In Mexico, didn't really run into anyone trans that I saw or genderqueer, so I don't really know how that would be. I did go to St. Lucia though, and had kind of a scary experience. My girlfriend and I, went jet skiing on the ocean one day, and the guy that gave us rented us the jet skis, he was like, can I ask you guys a question? You won't get offended. And we were like, okay. He was a native St. Lucian. And he was like, can I ask you a question? Don't get offended. I said, okay, I won't. He's like, are you guys lovers? I mean, first of all, that's rude. Really? You really need to know this? So we're like, yeah, because, at that point, what are you going to do? But tell the truth. And I walked away a little bit after that, and Stephanie was behind me, and he grabbed her, and he was like, if you ever want a big man in you, then, just call me. So I don't know. It was inappropriate and really, really, really scary. I don't know. That was negative. Obviously, that wasn't even necessarily about gender, but the reason why they thought we were lovers in the first place is because I was sporting my cargo shorts and I don't even know, a tank top or something. And I just looked, by their standards, rather masculine in presentation. So that's why they assumed, I was a lesbian. So I guess it would not be fun there. I guess that's all that I have today. But I hope that you guys have a great week. Bye.